On this episode of Arts Weekly, I'm speaking with artist Xuzheng He.
He got a lot of artist friends and a big collection of art books at home. So, naturally, I just, start painting in a very early age. And later on, I got some formal trainings from some excellent teachers. They are also my father's friends. And I learned traditional Chinese paintings and classical drawings and watercolor paintings from some other teachers. So I just love painting.
And Deb Washler and Audrey Riley from ArtLink.
Ed Ruscha, he is my #1 influencer, and he has done, you name it with words. I think of a new idea, and then I look at his work, and he's already done it. So he challenges me to, challenges me to keep, thinking. Yeah. I'm also really influenced with people that used indexical color. So like, for example, the tongue-tied piece that you saw, I'm actually making art on a piece of trash from a printer that makes paint chip samples for hardware stores. And so I think I got interested in indexical color the first time I opened a crayon box.
This is Arts Weekly.
Arts Weekly is a production of the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design. IPFW, the energy of arts.
Hello, welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm Chuck O'Connor. Joining me is artist Xuzheng He. His work is currently on view at the Visual Arts Gallery at IPFW. Xuzheng, good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You're originally from China, Canton, China, actually. What part of China is that?
Canton, Cantonese food and whatever is pretty familiar with the American people.
Yes, Canton food, Cantonese food.
Yeah, but actually it's the biggest commercial and cultural city in southern China. It's the capital city of Guangdong province, near Hong Kong. It's just like 100 miles away.
I see. And how did you learn to paint in China?
Well, I grew up in an artistic family. My father was a art theory writer. So he got a lot of artist friends and a big collection of art books at home. So, naturally, I just, start painting in a very early age. And later on, I got some formal trainings from some excellent teachers. They are also my father's friends. And I learned traditional Chinese paintings and classical drawings and watercolor paintings from some other teachers. So I just love painting.
But we're talking about the 1960s in China. You live in the United States now, I know, but back then, the Cultural Revolution was going on. There was a big crackdown on freedom, bigger than there is now. How did that affect your training as an artist?
Actually, before the Cultural Revolution, I kind of already know how to paint. So I paint pretty well already. At the time when the Cultural Revolution happened, I was sent to a countryside, tobacco farm, just because my father got some problem with the government. Actually, it's not his problem. It's kind of, they call history problem, because before the Communist Party took over the country, my father was a common member of the Chiang Kai-shek's party.
Ah, he was on the wrong side at that point.
Yeah, right. And he didn't do anything, just a common member, just like you are here, you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, just like that. But unfortunately, he was on the wrong side, so got all the troubles.
So you got sent,
Yeah.
against your will, essentially, to a tobacco farm.
Yeah.
When you were young.
Yeah.
Teenager.
18.
And what was that like?
Well, actually, when I was in high school, I was a straight A student, and I would love to go to university to get some, higher education, especially if I can go to the art schools. That would be my dream. So I always dreamed to be a good artist and get some better learning environment, but they don't allow it. So I was sent to the farm, but during the Cultural Revolution, they need a lot of propaganda art, like you paint a lot.
Pictures
Portraits,
of Mao.
Portraits of Mao and all this, they call it
Propaganda. You were painting propaganda posters, essentially.
Yeah. And all this soldiers with strong arms, workers, whatever.
So you got good at that. And actually, you became kind of an expert at painting Chairman Mao.
Oh yeah, and a lot, at least tens or even hundreds.
Hundreds of pictures of Chairman Mao.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't have printers back then. But how did you finally break out of the farm? I mean, how did you end up being able to rise from what was basically slave labor and move into, eventually make your way to the United States as an artist?
Oh, well, yeah, it's a long story. And as I said,
the condensed version.
yeah, and as I said, I paint Mao's portraits all over the place. In office and big murals along the highway and things like that. And at the end of the Cultural Revolution, because they already got rid of all these old guys, so they need to rebuild all these theaters or whatever cultural agencies. So they need some so-called new blood, and they send out something like a recruiter, look over the country and find somebody if they think is okay.
To be a designer for the opera. Eventually, is that what happened? You became a designer for theater.
Yeah, and I was picked by a theater.
Yeah.
So I eventually just end up work for that theater for 10 years as the scenic painter first, and then scenic designer.
Well, before we hear the rest of that story, I want to look at some of your work that's on exhibit right now at the Visual Arts Gallery at IPFW until November 13th. You have some very, very unique looking paintings, and get one up here on the screen. The first one is called Peacock Dance. And tell us a little bit about this painting and what it represents.
Peacock Dance is a pretty popular and famous dance in China. I like that kind of dance.
Yeah.
But I am not satisfied with just like copy a photograph of that dance. And I always said that use the imagination to fill out all the space.
Yeah.
Rather than just that single image.
Right. You don't have to paint exactly what you see.
Yeah, and otherwise, why we need the painting? You can just have a photograph.
Let's take another look at another one while you're on that point. Beyond Lily is another very beautiful painting that one can see a little bit different style there, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of Georgia O'Keeffe almost.
Well, I had some very good training at traditional Chinese painting, and I painted a lot of flowers in a very detailed style. But in the traditional Chinese painting, they have the white background. Same thing. I don't think it's enough for me, so I filled up a lot of the different things I like
Yeah.
to be the background. I think it makes the painting more interesting.
Do you ever go back to China now, and to what extent is it different? You know, you've been in the United States for a few years. You know, you escaped from Red China, essentially, when it was a very hard thing to do. When you go back now, how is it different?
Well, since the whole world is changing, though, so they have to have change in China, and it's a little bit loosened up now, but still, basically, the arts are propagandas, and there's no change.
Yeah, it's still very restricted then, and
Yeah.
the imagination is still restricted. a little
Yes. So my style is kind of combine the real image and the imagination, or a lot of abstract ingredients.
Here's one called Door Guard, which is also featured in the exhibit.
Yeah.
Again, very beautiful, beautiful colors and technique.
Okay. And again, I pay a lot of attention on the backgrounds because I think it's kind of stimulate a lot of imagination for the viewers.
Yeah.
And actually, this painting I used a very old form, like rubbing.
I see.
They have things carved on the stone, and they have paper go over it, and then use the ink to, reveal the image.
I
They
see.
call it rubbing.
Yeah.
And I use that kind of old form, but I don't want the black, as the flat black as background. So I use a lot of colors and patterns to make it more interesting. And
You know, it's kind of intriguing. We see students walk through the gallery and they can't, and look at the work. They can't quite figure out, what it's made of. It's rice paper with watercolor, and it's a very, very different, unique, very rich technique. It's really something beautiful. I know that we're out of time for now, but you're also going to be here on campus teaching scene painting, theatrical scene painting to the theater students here. So that's going to be a really good treat. And Xuzheng, I just want to thank you for coming here to Fort Wayne. I hope everybody has a chance to come down and see your work and your paintings here at IPFW.
thank you.
Thanks for coming. The art of Xuzheng He can be seen through November 13th at the IPFW Visual Arts Gallery on the campus of IPFW. Then, after that, at the Continuum Art Gallery in downtown Fort Wayne. For more information on the exhibit, go to ipfw.edu/VPA. Arts Weekly will return in a moment.